I'm Willis Johnson with the JBJ Management Podcast. Curtis McClinton, John Wooten. Wow. Ooh. Yeah, y'all don't understand what we got today.
We played together too.
That's what people don't understand. First of all, thank y'all for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me just focus in for a minute, because you got the Kansas City Chiefs, you got the Cleveland Browns / Dallas Cowboys. Let's just talk a little NFL first before we go any further. What was it like, Curtis, playing in Kansas City in the 60s, 70s? What was it like?
It was another game of football. It was a good game of football. And I never knew that the city didn't make a difference. It was really the players in the game.
So, if I'm not mistaken, Kansas City, it was either Kansas City or Oakland that played Green Bay in Super Bowl 1 or 2. I believe it was Kansas City.
I think it was 1, wasn't it?
Now, when I talk to my team, these youngsters, John, over here, when I say I remember Super Bowl 1, first of all, Chris, they look at me like I'm crazy. But I was
that was Super Bowl
I was a
1.
kid, but I remember Super Bowl 1.
Yes, indeed.
And first of all, John, it was at the Coliseum,
Yes.
in California, and they couldn't sell it out.
Right.
And the tickets were $10.
$10.
Did you ever think that the Super Bowl would be? I mean, it's the event now. It's the event that everybody talks about. Did you ever see that then?
Well, I guess, and you bringing up something that's very hurtful, because we lost to Green Bay. That put them in that game.
The week before.
That put them in that game.
Yeah.
You know, they're in Green Bay, but you saw it, Willis, from the point that everybody loved the game. You know, and the game of football just grew from the high school to the college to the NFL. And now look at it, to the point where they're even talking about playing the Super Bowl in another country.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
But that's football.
But then they couldn't sell it out.
Yeah.
This is the Super Bowl. It's the first time the AFL and the NFL
Right.
That's right.
played one another.
Right.
And of course, the AFL, Curtis, was not considered to be on the same level of
Not at all.
quality as the NFL.
No way.
But the Chiefs had a defense
Yeah,
that was full of black folk.
right. And tough.
I guess you had to go through that in practice every day.
Oh.
And they lost to Green Bay.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
But then Kansas City came back in Super Bowl, they telling me over, Super Bowl 4 with Hank Stram. And I just remember him on the sideline. It's like stealing, baby. It's like stealing. He said that all because they beat the Vikings like they stole something. I mean, and so people don't understand that when you start talking about Super Bowls, and in those early years when Joe Namath said, I guarantee you, we will win. John, they're playing the Baltimore Colts. I know y'all believe the Colts are in Indianapolis. I get that. They weren't then. It's Johnny Unitas. You can't beat Johnny U. But he did.
He did.
Well, you said it pretty clearly when you said that Kansas City had a lot of black folks.
From
that ball
HBCUs.
club. From HBCUs.
Prairie View,
Exactly.
Grambling.
Yes, indeed.
Emmett Thomas, all those guys.
Yep.
You know, and that's where they were ahead of us, because we, when I say we now, I'm talking about the Cleveland Browns, had not moved to that area of scouting, where they were scouting the black colleges the way that Kansas City did. So
Well,
Lord Wells is that guy.
Well, you had one. You had one African American on the Cleveland Browns team that kind of set a standard.
The best has ever done it. And I've seen the great ones. We've seen all the great ones, and there's nothing but, when you talk about Jim Brown, you're talking about, and I use Paul Brown's expression, you're talking about a different animal. That came directly from Paul.
Is that why you wore number 32, Curtis? I'm just curious.
I was 32 all the way from high school.
Because a lot of people wore 32 because of Jim Brown. I mean, whether it was O.J. Simpson or, I mean, that number was a Jim Brown number, but you wore 32.
Yeah, I wore 32, but I may have worn 32 because of Jim Brown. I don't know. I just don't remember. That's been a while back.
But they got you in the Ring of Honor in Kansas City. How you feel about that?
Huh?
How does it feel to be in the Ring of Honor?
I feel like I earned it. I feel like I played hard enough to earn it. And I knew that I knew what it took. I knew what it took.
Now, in those days, John, Curtis, in those days, I don't know what it was like in the off season, because I remember talking to Robert Newhouse, who was from Hallsville, Texas, went to the University of Houston, eventually was a starting fullback for the Cowboys. But he talked about he had to work when season was over, when the NFL season was over. He needed a job because the NFL players were not making enough money then. What was that like, John? What did you do when you weren't playing with the Cleveland Browns?
I was prepared for that coming out of the University of Colorado, that you weren't going to make enough money playing pro football to be able to sustain your life. So consequently, when my rookie year there in Cleveland, I signed up immediately to be a substitute teacher. And then my wife here today is the result of that. We met, I was at Addison Junior High School, subbing in mathematics. And the gentleman that I was there serving for, Mr. Towns, was ill and passed away. And the principal, Mr. Mish, asked me to stay on for the rest of the year. So from January to June, I was there at Addison Junior High School.
Did you train after school to get ready for the NFL season or what? I'm just curious.
No, I just, coming out of college, I really was prepared to go to work. I didn't think when I went off to college, football wasn't on my father's mind, NFL. I knew about it, but it wasn't until my junior year that scouts started to come to Colorado. And their coming made me feel, and I really thought, I never saw a scout from the Cleveland Browns, but the scouts from Green Bay and San Francisco was almost there every day, every practice. And that's when I thought I was going to have a chance, to go and play in the NFL. And then Vancouver came down at the end of my senior playing season, and they felt that if they could entice me to sign with them by having all this cash money in an attaché case, and that insulted me.
Wow.
Because I know that isn't the way it's supposed to be done. supposed to sit and negotiate and so forth. And I didn't sign with them. Thank goodness I didn't, in a sense, because right after that, I get a call from Paul Brown. And he says, are you sure you haven't signed with Canada? I said, yes, I am sure. And he says, because we're prepared to take you in the 5th round. Now, back then, they was doing 30 rounds.
Yeah, right. right. That was early.
Yeah, that was early. And he says, but I'll have a guy calling you when we get on the clock. And well, I'm sitting there listening to the draft, and I get a knock on the door. And it was a fellow named Harold Sauerbrei with the Cleveland Browns. And he says, if we can sign you right now.
Today, right now.
Right now, this evening, it's at night. We can sign you right now. Mr. Brown will take you off the board in the 5th round. And I said, yes, we can do that.
How much did they pay you?
It's embarrassing.
No,
it's embarrassing, but I'm gonna tell you.
It's important.
Yeah. $500 bonus.
Yep.
And $8,500 a year was my opening, and I only signed for 1 year.
Now, Curtis, do you remember what was your first contract? How much was it?
It's been so long ago.
It's got to be in the same $500 bonus kind of thing.
I really don't remember. I can't remember back that far.
But you got paid.
Oh, I got paid. But
and then you had to go to work.
I played for the Dallas Texans rather than the Chiefs
before they went to Kansas City.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know how they
right,
got
right.
Okay,
but think about that kind of money, though. Do you see the kind of money these guys are making now? And you think about the money $500 bonus. A $500 bonus, John. John, you were a starter.
Yes.
For Jim Brown.
Right. Right.
It was a starter for Jim Brown.
For Jim Brown.
Oh my
God. $500. I just wonder what goes through your mind when you see what these guys are making now.
I'll tell you, the game of football.
I smile at it and just hope that they realize where they are in terms of salaries and so forth, and making sure that, and that's one of the reasons why when I had the opportunity and when Jerry Jones fired me here in 1989 here at the Cowboys. I'd been with the Cowboys 16 years.
16 years?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And I go to the league office, and the first thing I did in talking to Commissioner Tagliabue was to tell him that I want to set up a program where we have people that can work with players to make sure that they're getting a fair contract, have a relationship with the league, that you have someone, and we call it a director of player engagement, so that they could understand how these contracts work and what's fair. And that's, and then I'll just tell you real quick, and you'll love this. So after my rookie year, I went in, sitting across from Paul Brown, just like you and I are now. And I told him that I wanted $12,000. And you know what he told me? You're going to price yourself right out of the league.
Wow.
$12,000. I played 87% of the plays that year, graded out on his grades that he would put in the paper. He put everybody's grades in the paper. Therefore, he was doing all the dealing himself. And I told him, I said, hey, I think that I've deserved this. Played 87% on the plays, including kickoffs and punt returns and everything else as a rookie. And this is my grade that you put in the paper. So consequently, how do what you're asking me to take is unfair. What I'm asking you for is unfair. He leaves the room, Willis. I said, oh, Lord, that's the end of my career. What am I going to tell my mom? I have to go back and start preparing to be a school teacher,
Right.
And he comes back in the room, and the contract those days were 5 copies. Just threw them at me and said, you're going to price yourself right out of the leg.
He threw the contract at you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
my
picking up
goodness.
the contracts, papers off the floor, And I said,
But you were good enough that he knew he needed to keep you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I give him credit for my learning and understanding football the way I did today, And, of course, as I said, I was prepared not to be able to play football by getting the education, and that's part of the player engagement. Person's responsibility at each team is to make sure that these players coming out early and out there like they are, not getting the degrees, can go back. They don't have to go back to Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia or whatever college they came from. They can go to the college right in their area, yet they still get credit for graduating.
Right.
All of these are player engagement programs that we put together in '89 there in New York.
And this came as a result of Jerry Jones saying, I no longer need you on my team. So you decided, I'm going to New York, talk to the NFL commissioner to try to protect players going forward.
That's exactly right. When I left, it was on Mother's Day weekend. I never will forget, 1989, Mother's Day weekend. My son is graduating from Texas A&M. They always do their, as you know, their graduation on Mother's weekend. And here I got to go tell him and his mother that. And I said, no, I'll just say this until we get back from graduation. And called Art Mordell, and I told him, I said, Jerry Jones just fired me. What do you think I should do? And he said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to go to the league office and set up a program. And that player engagement program is what's in effect today in the National Football League.
And these players in 2025, to get a picture of that, that's deep right there. That's deep right there. These players today are benefiting because of that in 1989, 1990.
Exactly. Player engagement. That's it.
So, John, when I say Curt Flood, you say, I understand.
Yes. Yeah. The guy that saved us is John Mackey. See, when John Mackey took over the NFL Players Association as the head of it, he sued the NFL for free agency. And that's what turned that whole thing around.
So while Curt Flood did it in baseball,
right,
and they get paid, it was John Mackey in football. Now, I want to focus on that for just a moment. You've been hit in the head so many times. John, hold your left hand up. Just hold your left hand up. Look at his little finger.
Yeah.
Hold that up, Curtis.
I got that broke my freshman year too.
Would y'all do it again?
Oh yeah, I'll do
Tomorrow
it again.
morning.
Tomorrow morning.
If not this evening.
Oh boy.
First thing in the morning. There's nothing like it.